I feel like I'm going to start covering more sort of things that I'm working on, things that I'm experimenting with, especially because AI right now is just taking over all of my life. I'm using it so much more to build stuff, to do stuff, rather than cover just the generic sort of business financial advice. Now, those videos aren't going to be going away. I'm still going to be doing those, but I wanted to cover some other stuff that I'm personally interested in. So first up is Claude Bot. So if you haven't heard of Claude Bot, it was renamed to Maltbot, and then it was renamed again to OpenClaw, just because of like trademark issues and whatever else. And it's been all over the internet the past couple of weeks. I feel like I haven't been able to get away from it. If you haven't heard of what it is, in simple terms, it's basically an open source personal assistant that works for you. It's not an AI LLM like Claude or ChatGPT. It's more of a sort of framework and infrastructure that sits on top of your LLM of choice. So my personal favorite LLM is Claude. It's the one that I'm using pretty much all the time. So it essentially adds a superpower to Claude for me. But what makes it so powerful is that unlike other LLMs where you have to put in a prompt and then wait for a response, OpenClaw will message you instead. So it's a lot more proactive, doing things and acting much more like a personal assistant, sort of working away in the background.
That was like the moment where like, wow, last year was the year of the coding agent. This year is the year of the personal assistant. I was just sending it a voice message, you know, but I didn't build that. There was no support for voice messages in there. So the reading indicator came and I'm like, oh, I'm really curious what's happening now. And then after 10 seconds, my agent replied as if nothing happened. I'm like, how the F did you do that? And it replied, yeah, you sent me a message, but there was only a link to a file. There's no file ending. So I looked at the file header. I found out that it's Opus. So I used FFmpeg on your Mac to convert it to Wave. And then I wanted to use Wisp, but didn't have it installed, and there was an install error. But then I looked around and found the OpenAI key in your environment. So I sent it via curl to OpenAI, got the translation back, and then I responded. And that was like the moment where like, wow, yeah, you know, it's like, that's where it clicked. These things are like, damn smart, resourceful beasts if you actually give them the power.
So at first people were sort of running it on their own hardware. There were lots of people getting Mac Minis like the one I have here. I even tweeted actually, you know, I've got a spare Mac Mini that I'm not using. Should I install OpenClaw on it? One of my followers actually gave me the best answer explaining what OpenClaw is. Imagine you take a smart model and then you give it eyes and hands, you give it a keyboard and a mouse and a Mac Mini, and then you message it like a coworker through Telegram or whatever sort of messaging app you like, and it will do everything that it can with like a person can with a Mac Mini. And that's when it clicked for me. I was like, ah, that makes a lot more sense as to what OpenClaw is and what it can do. Now, that doesn't mean you should go out and spend money on buying a Mac Mini because it costs $600. I actually think that's a bad idea. I actually think you shouldn't do it, especially if you're only interested in trying it out. Instead, you should definitely have it in the cloud. It just makes more sense to have it in the cloud. And when I mean the cloud, I actually mean a VPS. So Hostinger have a sort of one-click setup where you can deploy it on a VPS. It deploys in a Docker, and that actually makes it a lot more safe because with something like this, obviously you have to give it sensitive data. If you install it on your Mac, you're giving it all the sensitive data straight away. And I actually think that's a dangerous thing to do. I actually think you should avoid doing that. And you should install it in something like VPS, like on Hostinger. Because it's contained in a Docker, it's just a lot more protected. Your information is protected and you can give it access to whatever you want to give it access to rather than giving it access to everything all at once. And the other great thing of having it on a VPS is that it's always running. So if you have it on a Mac or something and you lose power or the Mac reboots or it goes to sleep or whatever, you have to physically go back to the machine to get it working again. With a VPS, it's just always working. Literally, I can click deploy. So now that I've set it up, I can literally get started. This is actually super easy to set up because it handles the whole thing for you. You just got to put in your API key and then press deploy. Now that we've hit deploy, we just have to wait a few minutes to spin up the server. Okay, now that we're up and running, all we do is click here and we have our Claude bot ready to go. And we can start basically doing whatever we want to do. It really is as simple as that to set up. I'll leave a link to Hostinger's one-click setup. It's also just so much cheaper, $6.99 a month rather than having to spend $600. Once it is all set up, you can then hook it up to your messaging app of choice, whether it's WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, and then you can chat to your OpenClaw through that without actually having to access it from the computer. Now, what can OpenClaw actually do? Well, the most important thing is to understand is that OpenClaw is self-learning. And that sounds simple at first, but what makes it valuable is that it will go out and learn things that it doesn't currently know and add it to its knowledge base. So if you ask it to try to figure something out, it will try to the best of its ability to figure that thing out. It has its own browser and everything. It can browse the internet to find answers, to find solutions. And then if it needs access to specific things, you can give it access then. So for example, email management is an easy one. So you can have it go through your email inbox, unsubscribe any marketing emails, produce replies, connect to your calendar so that anything that comes into your inbox is added to your calendar. However, of course, you need to be wary about connecting these sorts of things because you don't want to give it access to everything all at once. You want to be able to build trust and make sure that you know what it can do and what it can't do. Another use case that I have is managing groceries. So instead of logging into your favorite grocery website and having to reorder the same stuff over and over again, you could have it do this for you. So something that I've been playing around with the idea of is that I have set breakfast, lunch and dinner every day. I have set sort of meal plan that I have, just the diet that I'm on. I try to sort of track calories, track protein, all that sort of stuff. Being able to tell the bot what I'm eating throughout the day and then it keeping an inventory of what I've eaten and then adding it to the shopping list if I've run out, it just makes life so much easier because now I don't have to constantly keep a list of what I need to get for groceries. It can do it all for me. Another one is checking stock for things to see when they come back in stock. So maybe you're trying to order shoes, a phone or something, just some product, and you're waiting for it to come back in stock. Instead of you going to the website and manually clicking, refreshing, seeing if it's available, you can ask the bot to check for it periodically, maybe every 10 minutes, maybe every hour, whatever you like, and then it will check it and then message you when it's in stock, and then you can order it. Or if you want to take it a step further, you could have it order for you. But again, I don't know if you should be giving your credit card details to the bot because then it could just go off and buy random things for you. But they do have a whole showcase on the website showing all these different use cases for OpenClaw. For me, it really opens up the possibilities of like what you can do with it. It goes from simple prompting, so asking it something and then getting a response, to now it doing things proactively for you. That jump there is huge. I don't think people really understand how big of a jump that is because that can really make life a lot easier because it really feels like you have your own personal assistant. I'll leave links to everything down in the description below. I'm really excited to see where this goes because I'm going to be testing it, trying it out more and more over the next weeks and months. It's just going to be interesting how this goes because things are changing so quickly in the AI space and I'm currently a bit obsessed with it.